So, an often misunderstood fact about Tourette syndrome is that Tourette is actually starting to be thought of as a spectrum disorder. And the same factors that lead a person to develop Tourette syndrome, so genetics that influence neurodevelopment, that cause a person to have the neurobiology necessary for tics and other symptoms associated with Tourette, can also manifest in a couple of other tic disorders that fall on the Tourette spectrum, and that is chronic tic disorder, the chronic verbal tic disorder, and chronic motor tic disorder. All three of these conditions have the same genetic causes and they run in the same families. And it's also not really that uncommon to see somebody first diagnosed with a chronic tic disorder and then later convert to a Tourette diagnosis because after many, many years of having one type of tics, they develop new types of tics and then qualify for Tourette syndrome. Another really common misconception is the idea that tics need to be simple or complex to qualify for a Tourette diagnosis. That's actually not a diagnostic criteria. While understanding simple versus complex tics can be helpful for assessing the full impact of tics on a person's life and also trying to suss out whether a strange behavior is, something somebody's doing socially on purpose or if it's an involuntary symptom, a person can qualify for a Tourette syndrome diagnosis with only simple tics. And with only simple mild tics. They can have extremely infrequent mild tics that are barely noticeable and are 100% simple across the board, and they would have Tourette syndrome. Likewise, a different person could have the combination of motor and vocal tics that last for at least a year, and they could have only very, very severe, completely complex tics, no simple tics whatsoever, and they would also have Tourette syndrome. The variety of tics between people and in the same person across time is just part of how the disorder works. Also, very important to note, people with chronic vocal tic disorder and chronic motor tic disorder can also have that same variety of simple and complex tics and mild and severe tics and infrequent or frequent tics. Somebody can be extremely disabled by a chronic tic disorder that's on the Tourette spectrum but not technically Tourette, and really have a much worse time than somebody who has so-called full-blown Tourette, but simple tics that are infrequent and very mild. I have seen this happen in the support groups that I've been part of. It's, not the most common thing, but it's happened and more than once.